Hello and welcome to an episode of the Jonesing for Sports podcast, the podcast where I, your host, Cody, joined by my co-hosts and brothers, Travis and Brandon, merge our love for Michigan sports and some of the other things that we love, like Star Wars and Marvel and cereal foods, and any zany thing that we have on our minds for the day. For those of you who have listened to this podcast many times in the past, you'll notice that we went on a bit of a hiatus for a minute there. Jonesing Bros have gone through several life changes and had to take a little bit of a break from the pod. But we are so back in true Jonesing fashion with a copyright strike. And we want to just discuss some other great details of the sports world that are going on around us. Talking about the Pistons starting their postseason run and how far they could be going along with that. The Tigers starting their season. The boys might even talk a little bit Red Wings too. And you'll probably expect a shower thought and some other fun stuff along the way. So you guys have been waiting long enough to get back into this action. Let's waste no more time and get right back into it.
We never talk, we have our general outline, and then Cody takes it. And then as soon as the music played, I went, great, we're starting off our comeback with getting the episode pulled for copyright instantly.
I'm going to keep doing it until the pod is large enough for it to actually bite us in the butt.
Well, now that AI and stuff is out there, they can catch copyright super easily.
That's a fair point, Trav. And I don't have a rebuttal.
Here's the rebuttal code. You were playing Dune. Yahaya Chohada. Long live the fighters. We'll fight the AI and we'll fight the copyright strikes because we're jonesing for sports, baby. That's just what we do. It's in our blood.
I love that, first off. I was trying to think, how do we start off an episode after being gone for months? And
copyright infringement
seemed pretty fitting. Been there, done that. But I had flashbacks to starting the pod with the victory on Naboo song at the end of Phantom Menace when Michigan won the Natty. But recently went to a Hans Zimmer concert and listened to that song live, the Dune song that I just played. And it's transcendent, and there's just a peaceful serenity about it. A type of peaceful serenity that comes my way when we get to talk sports. And so it just seemed fitting for the occasion.
We haven't done this in a healthy minute, and you brought up the going to the Hans Zimmer concert code. So let's give some life updates. Who did you go to that concert with?
It was, a really long solo trip. No, I went with my girlfriend, Brooke.
Hey!
She's a real one. I know that because she's a Hans Zimmer fan. Also big into the Lord of the Rings as well. So those were two of the first things that we did was watch through the Lord of the Rings series and then drive down to Nashville for a Hans Zimmer orchestral concert. And
wow.
It was a transcendent experience.
I can speak for myself that those aren't necessities for a healthy relationship, but that's pretty dope to start yours on those fronts. Mm-hmm. And I can speak for myself because I got married in our break as well. Not as well, but got married. And my wife is not a Lord of the Rings fan, but it's still working out pretty good.
It's on the ropes.
I'll put it on sometimes just to push it, to see if she's willing to try it. And that in Star Wars, I can't ever get her to watch it with me.
I'm going to put something out there that's pretty spicy. I get it with Star Wars. If people aren't into it and don't want to open their minds to it, Star Wars is one of those things for me where the concept of it is so much better than the actual execution. The whole world and fantasy of Star Wars is so wonderful, and a lot of those movies we grew up on. Then you try and introduce somebody that's in our lives currently to Star Wars that they didn't have that nostalgia factor, and they're just like, why do you like this? And it's kind of a punch to the nads when that happens, but some of those movies, I don't know, you talk to Star Wars fans now and they're like, do you even like Star Wars movies? The way that we talk about them. And it's I'm not sure a lot of them I do.
Mm-hmm. I've been I got a new job in the meantime as well since we last recorded, and it gives me a lot of road time to listen to books. And I've been listening to some Star Wars audiobooks. And you guys played the Old Republic games. I've been listening to books on it.
Just replayed the first one.
That stuff's great.
Mhm.
Great stories. So Disney, way to drop the ball hard on just poo-pooing on that stuff and making your own crap stories.
Oh, sorry to hijack whatever you keep going. I'm gonna jump in after.
Oh no, I was gonna intro Brandon's life
then
updates next. So you go next.
Screw Brandon. We're talking about Star Wars. Another thing that happened during the
for real.
break is Kathleen Kennedy announced that she's stepping down at the end of the year. 5 big booms for that. That's I'm not sure. That's probably too niche. Boom, boom, boom. That's 5. 2 of our fans will love that. But yeah, I guess like an extra shower thought that we've kind of talked about. I'm curious what our fans would talk about. If you were Kathleen, the new Kathleen, like what would be your first executive order as the supreme ruler of Star Wars?
Mine would be Order 66.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
I would execute Order 66. I think I'm pretty clear.
But didn't that already happen in the Star Wars universe?
Oh, do
For
it
Disney?
again. Take them out.
Oh, like a new Order 66.
Yeah, just take out the Jedi. Rey, you're gone. I guess she's the only
Isn't
Jedi.
she the only one left? So that was. Dang. All right, that's a good executive order, Bran.
Appreciate it.
I would just dig into the Old Republic stuff. That's not technically Disney canon, I think. So there's so many starting points there.
I think I
That's
would go
what I
ahead
would do
and
too.
I would decanonize all the sequels and
That's
just
a good first step.
jump right in with a new episode 7.
All the sequels. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into stuff, let's give Brandon his moment as well. So my wedding week, Brandon had some big stuff happen like 2 days before my wedding as well. So, Brandon, what have you been up to?
Yeah, my life update, Kathleen Kennedy stepped down. And also, secondarily, I had a kid. Another one. So, yep. Got a daughter and a son now. So,
That's exciting.
Yep.
You're carrying the team hard there for
Don't worry,
giving
guys. I got it.
mom and dad what they want. Yeah.
It
You're
was
the one for that.
Hilarious. Your daughter is really excited about having cousins on the other side of your family. And my mom and her were talking about that with your daughter. And my mom was like, look to me. And my wife's like, well, I think you see how excited she is for having cousins? Think we need some on this side of the family.
It's never enough.
Never. Yeah, that's our updates. Life's been trucking along. I know it has for you. And we've been talking a long time about trying to get back into this and what avenues. So we may have some fine tuning to content in the future. We're still in discussions on it. We're still going to be jonesing, though. Jonesing for whatever we talk to you about. Sports, for sure. Specifically Michigan sports. And that's what you're going to hear from us today. But you've also heard a lot from us in the past on movies and nerding out, shower thoughts, just fun, general stuff that we find fun. Hopefully you too. So you might see some more of that, maybe some different branding on content-wise. But this is going to be the jonesing you, I was going to say, you know and love, but to the few of you who are listening to this that you know and love. But Code, what want to keep us on track and keep us rocking and rolling with some Jones and content?
I would love to do that. And you had already mentioned it earlier, shower thoughts. I think we would be remiss if we didn't get back into the action with a sweet, savory shower thought from our very own Brandon. Brandon, you got any shower thoughts lately to lay on us?
I do. I like to imagine fantastic scenarios. And so in this scenario, a meteor falls into your yard. And I looked it up. If a meteor falls into your yard, you do own it. This particular meteor is made of vibranium, and because it's the first vibranium that we've discovered in our Earth, because we're not Earth 616 like in the Marvel universe or whatever number it is in the movies. So now we have vibranium, but you do own it technically. Of course, a lot of people want to get their hands on it, being the strongest substance, and also somehow it makes you have great like science too. So it's worth a lot. I'm gonna say it's worth $5 billion. I think all of us are probably just gonna sell it, get $5 billion. One thing you're gonna do with your $5 billion is you're gonna have a private chef, and he's gonna make all your meals. He's gonna be world class. My question is, so now that you have $5 billion, you survived all of the all of the accusations of cultural appropriation about having vibranium, and you sold it, got your $5 billion. Is there any like food that, even though you've got your private chef making you like the best of the best, what's your like poor person food that you're gonna stick with? This kind of sprung from Travis in a snap the other day, where he was scraping some fish out of a can and then putting it on a cracker, and Bree almost like was gagging watching the snap, and I got a kick out of it, and I was like, I just wonder, like, if you had $5 billion to your name, are you still gonna eat your sardines and crackers or whatever it was? Because my personal food that I will never quit, and maybe I should, for health reasons, but I think that just tortilla chips with melted shredded cheese on it is like a goated food, and I will never stop. I don't care.
Would you upgrade the type of nachos you make, though? Like, would you add more or different cheeses to it?
Look, if my chef wants to hand make the chips, so they're like, see, this is where my brain goes. But I'm like, if they're like the chips at like a Mexican restaurant or like at Moe's, but like, if he wants to make really good chips, okay. I don't know. My brain doesn't have experience of better cheeses, but I mean, I'm pretty happy with like the Mexican blend I buy at Meijer. So if he wants some special queso, I don't know. Maybe I'll upgrade that. That's a good point. Still same concept though. Chips and cheese, man. Can't be beat.
That was such a overly complex and layered way to say, what's your guilty pleasure food?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what am I going to do with vibranium if I don't sell it? Like,
if
nope,
you well,
it's,
so
it's
the reason I go that way is because I actually kind of want, like, I've been thinking about that too, but the very specific answer I want from you is the food. But also, in your off time, let me know what you do with your vibranium money, or just the vibranium. Maybe you're gonna make a shield. I don't know.
I wouldn't do that. That's the worst application. Like, I know they made something that defies all physics, but like, you have the most special material in the entire world, and you make a frisbee. I think that's straight from what is it? Not David Spade. Whoever's character is Ultron.
Ultron underrated, by the way.
Yeah, they did him dirty.
Good actor too.
Yeah, he had some banger lines there.
Mm-hmm. That robot put us to shame with his like love languages and how he treated Scarlet Witch too. Just you said Ultron. I was thinking of what's his name?
Oh, you're thinking of Vision.
Vision. I'm thinking Vision the whole time. Not Ultron. Ultron is underrated. You're right, but I was thinking Vision.
Help me out. Who plays Robert California? That's Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know his real name.
I can't remember his actor's name.
He's Robert California.
You're right. You're right.
He's the Lizard King.
The food I think I would continue eating if I was a vibranium billionaire. I've been really into hot dogs again. Nope, I'm changing that. I would say hot dogs, but no. The Smoky Links breakfast sausages.
They're good.
Holy cow. I would stock up on them. Those are one of my favorite foods.
You wouldn't even wait for them to go on sale at Harding's. I mean,
they wouldn't have to.
2 for $3, doesn't even matter. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm eating those for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Those things are so good. I have done that before. When I lived on my own, I would buy those packs. I would eat so many of them just like for dinner, which is kind of gross,
This
but
is getting a little too much.
for sure. But they're so good. So that would be I would continue eating those.
Hmm.
Oh, but at the same time, while Cody thinks about his, I'm not a huge fan of breakfast sausage, but those are on
What
another
are you
level.
talking about? I'm so
He's
confused.
talking about like the real sausage,
Real
the one
breakfast
that's
sausage?
not just
Oh.
like microplastics and
Yeah,
Like,
fake
give
meat.
me
Gotcha.
the anti RFK Jr. type of food.
You want ultra processed. You want it made from 3 different animals, like
I want to taste that pork and
pork, chicken, and beef.
mush it together and put it in an intestine casing. Mm.
Oh gosh.
All right, Code, what you got?
I don't have anything to add to that. I've been struggling to think of what I'd want to continue to get even when I'm rich, but I think I'd probably have to go with the McDonald's caramel frappe.
Mm.
That is a
Ooh.
go-to for me. I know I have a problem because one of the last few times I was at McDonald's was actually, I think, February, and my car broke down and I was freezing, but there was a McDonald's nearby, and like all I needed was a hot chocolate. And I was like, but I doubt they actually have hot chocolate, and they did. And I was like, oh, no way. All right, I'll take a caramel frappe. Because I was like, you know what? I'll warm up in a few minutes. Like, I'm in a heated building now, so I'll be fine. So I might as well get what I really want. But, like, yeah, I have a little bit of a problem. But I'm curious also, and then I'm sure we can eventually get to sports. But, like, who makes the best, like, shake as far as restaurants go? Because you got, like, McDonald's, McFlurry. You got the Chick-fil-A shake. Arby's could throw their hat in the ring. Also, I'm sure Culver's. Who's your guys like number one in your opinion?
Wendy's Frosty. Does that count as a shake?
Sure, yeah, you can throw that in there. I'm mainly saying like, I guess fast food sweet treat.
Yeah, Wendy's Frosty for me.
Interesting.
Just as plain Jane, vanilla or chocolate, that's my go-to. But you can't beat a McFlurry. An Oreo McFlurry is just the GOAT.
So good.
I can't really answer this anymore because those things, they have won the war on my intestines. So same with frappes. Actually, I love those things, but they destroy me. So
yeah, I felt bad midway through asking that question. I remembered that's a mean question. So we will move on.
Also, a national championship update as we're recording this while the national championship for college basketball is going on. Walton, is it Walter or Walton Clayton?
Walter.
He's got 0 points right now, and Florida's down by 8.
Yeah, his threes have been mostly way outside the 3-point line. So Houston's doing a good job forcing him to not take, in rhythm off of picks like close to the 3-pointer. He's really trying to Steph Curry it right now, which is good for me because I've got a lot of money on Houston.
I was going to ask if you guys had any horses in this fight.
In our Discord, Brandon let us know he was on Houston heavy, and then our old Jonesing for Sports co-host at times, Cody Tooltime Thomas, responded with, "Oh, so you just want to lose all your money tonight?" And at that point, I knew I need to tail Brandon because Brandon tends to win those arguments about bets. That was the indicator for me, and I didn't because I'm an idiot. But that's my thought process when I saw that interaction on the Discord.
You should have faded him just for the content.
That would be how my bets go, because I would fade it and just lose. Brandon is here. His betting success and just knowledge is top tier. Like, if you want somebody to follow, Brandon, I do think you should probably look into that someday of posting bets. I shouldn't. Mine are the complete opposite. I aim to be. I'm not even gonna talk about that. Leave it at that. It's not
you
good.
Bet with your heart, Trav.
And my heart
that's
is
what I appreciate about you.
In special ed.
Trav's just looking for that one big win. That one win. that one meteorite of vibranium.
Yeah, which is dumb. So if you're
It's
listening to
coming.
this,
It's
don't
coming.
bet with your heart. Bet with Brandon's mind.
Any other thoughts like on March Madness before we just move on to bigger and better things?
I do think Cody is winning our bracket challenge.
Not anymore.
No, I think KB.
No. I
KB?
was put in such a difficult position because I found myself, I'm going to gag saying this, cheering for Duke because this year has been the best bracket of my life. But the way these bracket challenges go is they give an ungodly amount of points for your champion pick. If you pick the right champion, you can't win without doing that basically. And so up until this final matchup, this is by far the best bracket I've ever made. But Duke choked in the most horrendous fashion. I put a lot of blame on Shire for that. I just can't believe that not once are you able to actually break that press. And then for your last game-winning shot, you don't draw up anything for a flag. You just say, hey, go stunt on him. And then flag has this awful spinning fadeaway. I guess it just made me mad to think like how poorly that game was run. Not that Duke lost, but then also that killed my chances of winning the bracket. I do still have a chance of winning another bracket I'm in that actually has money attached to it if Houston wins tonight. So I'm pulling big for them. But yeah, kind of a really, really chalky tournament. Is a weird
The way
one.
that game ended, kind of Shire gave me some Jawan vibes, and I was like, uh-oh, that might not be good. I mean, he still was phenomenal this year. Like a great season, and if they keep getting all of the best players, like it might not matter that much. But yeah, not being able to get the ball in, you can't break a the fall apart there was epic.
Yeah.
And
last play of the game, you have a few seconds left on the clock, and you have to chuck it past half court. Like, what are we doing?
So yeah, I was a little. Cause I like Shire. Like I don't. It's not a guy that I'm like cheering against. So when I got that vibe, I was like, oh, don't love that.
Yeah, nice. It's tough because I still feel like that's the most talented team this year.
By far.
I don't hate that pick, but it just wasn't meant to be. That said, I would feel really good about seeing Kelvin Sampson finally getting his natty. So
It's a good coach.
Really hoping, yeah, for so long too.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was a little bit just peeved that they make it this far and potentially win the natty the 1 year I finally decide, you know what, I'm done with Houston.
Me too. I've been such a Houston. Like I picked them in so many brackets.
Oh yeah.
Same process. I'm done. Houston, like I'll have to be wrong on Houston, and then they're doing it.
Let them prove me right before I jump back on the Houston trade. And sure enough, they're battling for the natty as we speak. So good on them. You know, I'm fighting for the Cougs, but wasn't meant to be for my bracket this year.
I had Houston as my national champion in the first bracket I made, and then I edited it hard and went, nah, they probably won't get by Duke. And then I didn't even have Duke winning. So my bracket broke pretty quick. I had Texas Tech. I got high on the 3-point shooting and the offense from them, and they were this close. Yeah, they should have won their game, but that's March Madness for you. It's a game of inches, and Duke felt that with the Cooper flag, inches of reaching over that guy's shoulder for the offensive foul. But
was that a foul in your guys' minds?
The rebound, I would have let it go.
I would have let it go as well. But I think it was a foul.
I was really torn on it because live I was like, oh, that's a foul, and they called it, and I was like, can't do that, Coop. What are you doing? And then they played it in slow mo, and I was like, ooh,
maybe he can do that.
That doesn't feel good. I just blew Duke their chance. I would be the ref that would have to drive home with a escort.
Yeah, Cody makes that call and then high steps down the court.
Oh, I've become the very thing I absolutely despise. We're not here to see you. This is about me.
Alrighty.
Yeah, we should talk about other things.
What next thing, Code?
Next thing we should talk about. This topic is called "Are you fully torqued?"
Yes, I've been waiting for this one.
We're gonna be discussing if Spencer Torkelson is back using the torque scale, and you might have to explain this one to me. Torque the dork, I get that being the low side of the scale.
Yep.
The Tiger's hat is on. Torque the fork. I don't know if that's like.
So that's
fork,
like a
yeah.
fork in the road,
Oh, okay.
where you're kind of wait and see, like he could go either way.
Okay. And then there's fully torqued, which is obviously torque is locked and loaded, and you're torqued to have him on your team. So curious where you guys fall on the torque scale. Trav, you've been itching to go for this one.
You guys know that Torque's been my boy, and last year was painful. Every
Yeah,
time
so
we
bad.
took an at bat, it was just like, oh man.
Give him a blindfold, he would have done better last year.
Possibly. This year, it feels like you could give him a blindfold and he'd still at least get on base. The dude is a get on base machine right now. I am fully torqued. I
couldn't have seen that coming.
That's why I figured I'd lead it off because you guys knew what was coming there. But dude just hit a walk-off double yesterday. As of yesterday, he was batting like .325, 2 home runs. Just a pretty good start for a guy who almost didn't make the team and looked like he wasn't going to make the team because he lost his spot at first base in the offseason. They signed Gleyber Torres, moved Colt Keith over to first. And you're like, all right, it's not looking good for you, Torque. We kind of have the DH spot kind of figured out a little bit. And then he hits like 350 in spring training with good power. And he looks like the first pick of the Tigers. Like he's playing like a really good hitter right now. I'm fully torqued on Torque right now. Do I think it'll continue all year? I don't know. It continued all spring training, and he's never had a good spring training before. And he changed the way he stands a little bit, and he's just seeing the ball awesome. So he could keep me torqued all year long, or and I'm riding that till it dies off. I'm so excited with the start of this team. I've never been so excited for a team that got swept in their opening series.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't even care. Like watching all 3 of those games against the Dodgers, they're just the Monstars. Like they don't have a weakness in the lineup or their starting rotation or their bullpen. It's insane how good and deep they are. And the Tigers battled in almost every game of that series. And I thought one of the games because they called the player Margot out at home. Brandon and I talked about it, and I think Brandon saw a replay later, which may have said he was out. I don't care. It's that late. I don't think the umps saw that in the moment. No way. That's a LA call that they called him out and kept the game going, and then they lost. Give the Tigers one more win against the Monstars. I'm fully torqued.
Trev, go ahead, Code.
I just love Trav saying, I'm fully torqued. Is this going to last? I don't know. Not in reference to him being fully torqued. Is Torque's at-bat ability going to last? I don't know. But I'm fully torqued. If that doesn't describe Travis as a fan, I don't know what does, and that's why we love him.
Oh, man. Tigers are good for that too. Like almost every year, even in bad seasons, there's somebody. Like when we first got Javi Baez, he hit it might have been a walk-off home run in the first home openers first year with the Tigers. They always get somebody who're like, oh yeah, let's go. And then usually in the past, it just trickles away, and the regular season of 162 games gets you. But right now, as Cody said, I'm riding it, and I'm super excited. Beat the Yankees today, too.
Huge.
Yeah, you said Torque is playing
Take
like
that, torpedo bats.
Torque is playing like the number 1 draft pick he was. Casey Mize pitched today, got the win. Another guy that was drafted number 1, I believe. We kind of thought he might have been done as well. So he's pitching well. So things are looking good in Detroit.
Casey Mize's sinker I watched their game today against the Yankees, at least a few innings, because I was working, so I was listening to it while working. But I'd peek in every time I'd hear him say, like, that sinker, it is dirty. It just falls off the plate. And he got a lot of swing and misses from that. So Casey Mize, too. Exciting stuff. Good call, Brand.
But Trev, you're definitely a better fan than me, because I'm gonna say Torque the Fork, because a good fan would just be all in on Torque. Do I want to be the good fan or do I want to be the smart fan? And I think I'm gonna say smart fan, because I think it's probably better to wait and see with Torque, because he was bad last year. But then the year before that, he led the team with home runs, hit over 30, I believe, 32 or something like that.
And 92 RBIs, I think.
So Torque, he is a pendulum. He goes back and forth. And so we might see the old Torque come back. I hope not. But I'm going to say Torque the Fork and kind of wait and see, so that I don't get too high on Torque's supply. But I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing, and I hope it continues. But I'm definitely going to kind of wait and see before I crown him. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, Brand, quick question. So you said your take is opting towards being a smart fan. So if that's the smart fan take, does that make Travis a Torque dork?
I'll let Trav decide that. I felt bad creating
Trav
this.
would claim it.
I felt bad making the scale start with Torque the Dork. I only put that in there because I didn't think anyone would pick it, and I liked that it rhymed. But if Trav wants to be a Torque Dork, then I think that's fine.
That's fair, because multiple times this year when I've been watching the Tigers at home, like I've like shushed Hannah and it torques up in like a big moment so we can watch it. And the other night we were watching when he got that walk-off double, and Hannah was talking to me probably about something more important than the 5th game of the season for the Tigers. And Torque got up, and I was like, all right, just a sec, Torque. And they got that double. And I think she had been in the kitchen actually doing something productive with her life instead of me sitting on the couch watching Tigers. But I like stood up and was like, Torque did it! And she's probably heard me say Torque too many times for this early in the season. So Torque Dork is fair. I take it.
Yeah, like Brand, I'm going to stick with Torque the Fork. My initial interpretation was Fork, yeah, on Torque, so that's what I'm going with. He's playing great. Don't know if I'm fully torqued just yet. As Brandon said, this Tigers team is so prone to swings. It seems like it's happened many times where we've had this kind of scrappy group of Tigers who would start off the year as one of the hottest teams in baseball. We're like, are the Tigers good? And then they'd rattle off like 30 losses in the next 50 games. So I think Torque obviously is off to a really great start to the season. Trav, you mentioned on base percentage. He's sitting at 400. That's phenomenal for Torque and just in general. It's one of the best on the team right now. 289 for batting percentage. So that's currently 6th. That metric changes a little bit if you're taking into account, games played. Some of those guys higher up on the list have only recently been added to the lineup, but he's doing really well. I will give him that. And I don't want to belittle that whatsoever, but I do think that he is a player that is prone to tremendous ups and downs. So I hope that he can keep it consistent, but baseball is such a marathon. It is not a sprint. It's just going to be a matter of how long can he keep it up for? Can he be consistent? Can he continue to deliver those big hits in those big moments? I'd like to say that he can and that he's finally turned that corner, but I'm not ready to just put all my chips down on that to be fully torqued just yet. All right. So I have no further thoughts on that. We'll go ahead and talk about Detroit's other exciting team at the moment, the Pistons, who have just clinched their first playoff berth in, I believe, 6 years. I think that was the last time they were in the playoffs. And last time they were a 6 seed or better since 2008. So been a hot minute since we've had some exciting postseason basketball in the city of Detroit. What are your guys' overall thoughts? How far can they go?
Well, ironically,
Fully torqued.
Ironically, it was our very first pod that we spent time talking about
Oh
the
my gosh, it
Pistons
was.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, what
An
happened
iconic
there?
moment where Trav and I had a pod bet, and Trav ended up getting a temporary tattoo of Denethor from the Lord of the Rings. Might have to post that if anyone wants to
Yeah,
see that.
do you still have pictures of that? The
I
people
do.
need to see.
Yeah, I'll repost that picture. 'Cause I thought that tattoo turned out pretty good.
I loved
Yeah,
it. I
I
wish
was
it was
impressed.
permanent.
Should have been neck
I don't know
tattoo.
about that, but for my one and only tattoo, it's
Just
Denethor.
put it somewhere no one will see, like lower back. So that was
Denethor
our.
tramp stamp.
So, anyways, that was our very first pod, and I don't believe the Pistons have been back in the playoffs since, if I'm not correct.
That's correct.
Wow.
And they're looking fantastic. I looked it up today, and if the season were to end today, the Pistons would be facing the Knicks. So that obviously, you can't say for sure that will be who they face, but uh, how far are you guys feeling? Because I like this team so much more than the team that we talked about in our first pod, where I guaranteed to Trav that they would get swept by the Bucks. And I really think that this is a legit team that could make a run in the playoffs. But the thing is, I'm so jaded now that when I saw the Knicks as the team across from them, I instantly thought, oh, you're never going to get a call against a New York market team Knicks. And Cade Cunningham is already a superstar that doesn't get calls. So I wasn't feeling great. I'm hoping you guys can talk me off the cliff because I feel like they might be a first round exit type team where maybe after some experience, maybe they can make a run in years to come because they're so young. I mean, these guys that are playing so well, I mean, man, Ron Holland has looked really good. Asar has looked good. Like, yeah, there's veterans, but uh, I have a feeling that this is the type of year that they're going to need to maybe just get the experience of the playoffs, but maybe not make the magic run that we're obviously hoping for.
Yeah, well, I guess for starters, Brand, we're not locked in to take on the Knicks just
Yeah.
yet. Funny
But
enough,
we
the Knicks
did
are actually
lose
who we
tonight.
played. Oh, was that tonight that we played the Knicks?
No, we played Sacramento tonight.
Okay, I was
Lost.
gonna say.
So we're in a race for that 5th place with Milwaukee right now.
Right, and we actually play Milwaukee in 2 of the last 3 games, the last 2 games of the season. So those games will be huge. Loss to Sacramento doesn't help, but if they can finish out the season on 3 wins, they should overtake Milwaukee and end up facing the Pacers instead of the Knicks, which Pistons went 2 for 3 against both those teams. I don't love either of them, but I honestly would just much rather face the Pacers than the Knicks themselves. I do think they have a better chance of making it through.
I think the Pacers actually won the regular season series with the Pistons. I say that because I got really into that rivalry now that I live down in Pacerland.
Right.
Part of me was thinking, like, I could probably cheer for the Pacers a little bit as like a secondary team, live fairly close to them. Then I went to the Pistons-Pacers game down there. The crowd, like, that rivalry is renewed. If we can get a Pistons-Pacers series in the playoffs, it's going to be hot. I don't know if I feel confident in it because the Pacers are maybe the hottest team in basketball right now, not named Oklahoma City or Cleveland, but the Pacers are a dark horse finals candidate, and that's going to be tough to face. But the Knicks, I think I'd rather play the Knicks as of now, even though they're the 3 seed. But like Brandon said, you're playing against a little bit more than just the Knicks. Playing the Knicks against the Pacers, neither one's a big market. You're going to get maybe a fairly called game for the most part, although Halliburton does tend to get a few more calls. Fun fact, George Blaha hates Halliburton, which that would make it even more fun. That's what I'm hoping. I just want to see the Pistons-Pacers play against each other. I don't know how far the Pistons are going to go this year. They're still young, like you guys said, but that rivalry needs it. It is on the cusp of getting its roots back, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I see this team. I wouldn't guarantee them as a first round exit. I think they could win that first matchup potentially. Like they've shown they can beat both those teams. They got 2 wins against the Pacers, 2 wins against the Knicks. Lost both those series, as Travis mentioned. But I think they can get it done. Beyond that, it seems like maybe a bit of a stretch. This team just really is so young, but that's a good thing. Obviously, if you're trying to put all your hopes on this year, it's not. But this team has a bright future ahead of it, and they're going to continue to just get better and better. I think they still got some guys banged up a little bit. Duren is banged up. I can't remember if it was Tobias Harris or somebody else still coming back from injury as well. I think they might just use these next couple games just to kind of get back to full health. I'm not sure that they're necessarily going to be able to rattle off 3 straight wins. My guess is that we'd end up facing the Knicks, not the Pacers. But I think either of those games is winnable. They've shown, or either of those series are winnable. They've shown they can compete. This is a gritty team, and they've shown that they can get it done in a multitude of ways from at the start of the season, unlikely sources. So for the first time in a long time, there's optimism in the city of Detroit surrounding this team, and I just can't wait to watch.
Yep, this feels different than the first time we had this debate, where the core of the debate was Brandon believed, and was correct at the time, that it was better for the Pistons not to make the playoffs, to build, and not the hope of the playoffs, but if they didn't make the playoffs, better draft picks, better position for the next year. This doesn't feel like that this year. Like this team has got a young core that's building. They got a superstar in Cade. Some dark horse stars. I think Jalen Duren is one of the best pick and roll centers in the league right now, and rebounders. And Malik Beasley is only the 12th NBA player all time to hit 300 threes in a season. I don't remember the 12th.
He's
something
been
like
awesome.
that. He's awesome. That's huge. So I think they might have to re-sign him next year. I don't know how many years contract he's got. But I bet you he wants to resign. He's been all in for Detroit. The bad boys stuff they've got going on right now is awesome. So it feels different, and where we can get excited about a first round series with any of these teams.
Just wanted to point this out, Trav. For those on podcasts, Trav, you're wearing a Pistons jersey. Who's your what number is that, Trav?
That would be 31 mirrored. It's not 13, 31. If you need to see the back.
That's a hood, but it says 31 for Darko Milicic.
Oh, man. I should have worn my Blake Griffin jersey. We could have had quite a lineup here going.
Yeah, I had to break out the Human Victory cigar since we clinched the playoffs. Good old Darko. This is one of my favorite jerseys I have.
We got to get you a new Pistons jersey, my man.
I know.
We'll get you a Killian jersey.
Oh, man. That would have been bad. I'm sure glad I never did that. Like with our conversations with Nathan Parks when we had him on the pod, we joked about getting a Killian jersey at one point. Super glad we didn't go through with that.
Should have had you get a Killian tattoo. Right next to Denethor.
I'll get it on my left hand since Killian can only use his left hand.
Yeah, for real.
Can we get a Killian shooting cherry tomatoes into Denethor's mouth?
And missing.
Hitting Pippin. Oh, man.
Well, we had alluded to our first pod where we were talking about the Pistons being in the worst place that they can possibly be in the playoffs, but really shouldn't be in the playoffs, needing to rebuild. Is that where the Red Wings are right now, boys? Do you think they have a chance to make the playoffs? And if they can,
No.
should they even be there?
Tomorrow night we'll decide it for sure when they lose, because they're playing against. I forget who they're playing against tomorrow night, Tuesday night. It's against the team that's in second place in the wild card. If they win that, like they get 2 points, hold that team to 0. It keeps them in the running. But this team is the most frustrating team. I watched
Playing Montreal.
Montreal, yeah. I think Montreal is the second wild card in right now. And the Red Wings are quite a few. They're still in the runnings, but you beat them, you're still in it. But they have these games. They've had these games for 2 weeks now that are must win, and they keep just crapping the bed in them. Like,
Well, but then they'll just go and beat really good teams. Like the last 2 games, they beat the Hurricanes, which are a playoff team, and then they beat the Panthers, who are a Stanley Cup favorite.
yeah.
So it's so frustrating. How are you beating some of these elite teams, and then their goalies will be terrible, or their defense is terrible, or they can't score a goal, and it's like, man, this team is so frustrating. So I don't foresee them making the playoffs, but I also don't foresee them losing enough games to have any shot at all at the lottery.
So
Of
you just
course,
hope for a
it
playoffs.
doesn't matter because you'll never win the lottery anyways because NHL hates Detroit.
I was going to bring that up.
But at the
Brandon's
same
more
time,
jaded than
it's
anybody,
nice
I
to
think, about
hope.
that.
But yeah, they'll probably be the first team out, just like last year. We're stuck in the mushy middle, and it's the worst possible place you could be. And unfortunately, like I'm so frustrated because they're taking a very slow approach, which is probably like the level-headed approach. I like to think I'm like a logical thinker, and logically, yeah, you're gonna build through the draft. But at the same time, in hockey, when you have star players, you have windows, and Dylan Larkin is not getting younger. And when you have a first line center who's your best player, you're not guaranteed to be able to replace him. In fact, they don't have anyone on their roster or in their pipeline who could ever potentially be their next first line center. And if you're not going to win while Dylan Larkin is in his prime, then you're just pushing your Stanley Cup window even further out. So I'm so frustrated that they're not making moves, and then the moves they make are the kind of moves that say, well, we're hoping to win 3 to 4 years down the road, not 1 to 2. I I'm so frustrated because with the goalie situation, the goalies have been bad. And according to, NHL prospect rankings, that the Red Wings have the best farm system for goalies of any team. And they just keep kicking the can down the road. Oh, we've got a really good goalie in Grand Rapids. Well, we're not going to bring him up next year. They made a trade for Peter Mrazek, who had the worst save percentage in the NHL. I mean, just awful. The reason we were needing a goalie is because our goalie save percentages was not great, and we got someone with a worse save percentage. Not only is that a problem to have worse goaltending, which Mrazek is okay. He's not bad. He was in a bad situation in Chicago, but he's not obviously great anymore. Like he was good when he was younger, but now you're
Talbot
basically
had
guaranteed that you have
2 good saves yesterday.
Talbot can be a good goalie, but then he'll be terrible one night. It's the same thing with Alex Lyon, their other goalie. Some nights they're locked in, they stand on their head, and you can't get nothing past them. And then the next night it's like, oh, in the 5th goal, my bad. Like, oh, that one went right between my legs. I wasn't paying attention or whatever. I don't know, but the fact that you brought in another goalie that you're stuck to pay him for at least 2 years, he's making a lot of money. That means that you're definitely not keeping a spot open for Kosa, your prospect. And now you've got your second goalie prospect, who is the goalie for Michigan State, and he is really good. He's the best goalie in NCAA hockey. And he's just announced he's going to go back to Michigan State next year. Great if you're a Spartan fan. Terrible if you're a Red Wings fan, because now you've guaranteed he won't play for the Red Wings for at least 3 years, because he's going to play Michigan State next year, and then you would assume finally get to the Griffins in 2 years, and then best case scenario 3 years he could be your second goalie, which is like you could have accelerated that timeline. And in 3 years down the road, is Dylan Larkin even a really good, like, is he still your captain? Is he still your best hockey player? Probably not. So I'm so frustrated. There's no splash moves. This upcoming offseason, they have to do something huge, because they just keep basically saying, well, we're just going to bring up our prospects, but they're every trade they make, every free agency they make, it's all just underwhelming guys. It's the absolute epitome of apathy, really. So I'm frustrated. I think that in free agency, the cap is going up. and the Red Wings have really good contracts for most of their good players. So I think they should go out and offer a ton of money to the best player, which is going to be Mitch Marner. And if they get outbid, then Steve Yzerman should start to look for another job, because you need to get star players to Detroit, because it's Detroit. It's literally hockey town. And we can't make the playoffs. We have the, I believe, second longest drought of being out of the playoffs in NHL. So it's unacceptable. Go sign a star and go trade for a star too. My hot take, this is going to probably burn ears of anyone who is a Detroit Red Wings fan. I would go out and I would trade futures, draft capital, trade prospects, whatever it takes. Get Brady Tkachuk. If you know Brady Tkachuk, he's probably like the human version of a thumb. But the dude, if you watch the Four Nations face off, he was the leader. And he's not even like the most talented. He's definitely not the most for scoring. If you ever watched the show Shoresy, if there's a player in the NHL who is Shoresy, who's basically just like a goon who's going to attack the other team, that's Brady Tkachuk. So you hate him. You hate him if he's against you. If he's for you, he can galvanize your team. And the Red Wings are known as a soft team. And this guy is the opposite. He'll try to kill you. And he does that to the Red Wings every time they play him. He literally tackled Lucas Raymond and shoved his head into the ice. And then they scored after. I don't know how. How do you tackle one of our best players, shove his head in the ice? The refs are like, "Oh, I didn't see nothing." Like, that's the kind of, he just gets away with it. Somehow he's got the vibe where he's allowed to tackle people, and it works for him. So
That's a guy you hate when he's not on your team and absolutely love when he's on your team.
I have always hated Brady Tkachuk. Always.
But the Pistons have one of those guys right now in Isaiah Stewart. And I would get a Isaiah Stewart. That'd be my first jersey I'd get right now from the Pistons. I am
for sure you're going to say tattoo.
All aboard Isaiah Stewart. I think he's got the bad rep for being the baddest of the boys. But that aside, I agree. Getting somebody like that helps your culture, helps your team. I just got a Christmas gift given to me from the parents that was super delayed, and I was going to wear it for this podcast if the Red Wings were a little closer to the playoffs and I felt good about it. I'm not feeling good about it currently, but just got this, which is fun. My boy Mo.
Yeah, I was a little jealous
Big Mo.
because I saw that on the table waiting for you, and I was like, oh, that's pretty sick.
It's hard to beat a hockey sweater. They're sharp.
They really are. Speaking of beef stew, two things. I made killer beef stew tonight. Best I've ever made.
Clarify. Okay.
I made beef stew
Where?
on the stove.
Oh, okay, good.
It was fantastic.
Disgusting.
Although stew meat is really expensive and it's a little frustrating. But the second thing is the latest little kerfuffle that the Pistons got into. Everyone,
Don't get me freaking started on that one.
okay, first of all, everyone was saying, like, of course, like, Isaiah Stewart's finding another fight to get into. Which, first of all, DiVincenzo and who's the other guy? Was it Gobert?
Yeah, I believe so. I can't remember though.
Well, I know as DiVincenzo started it, and the other guy got his feelings hurt because he got blocked. Those two started it. The second thing is, Beef Stew definitely did take a shove at I can't remember who it was. One of the guys' faces while they were in the bottom of the pile.
At the bottom of the pile, yeah.
Because I was ready to like fight for him, and I was like, "Oh, he shoved him right in the face!" Like, just mushed him. Like,
There's one part where you see Beef Stew kind of dive down, and you're like, "I think he might be kind of pummeling somebody."
Still love Beef Stew. He's 10 times the man that Draymond Green is, and I think he actually helps the team. So, still love Beef Stew. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
I'm glad you did. Beef Stew, I love what he brings to the team. A year or two ago, I think I was talking about trading him, and he's a guy that I didn't think helped the team because I thought he was a little undersized. 3-point shooting wasn't quite there. But now, he's a great backup center. He brings that toughness. Like, this team they're the baddest team in the NBA right now. People are scared of them. And whether rightfully so or not, don't care. They've got the bad boy title and they're living up to it. And I think that helps sometimes. So I love it.
Well, we're probably running a little bit long on time. Before we wrap up here, boys, I think everybody's wondering, what are you jonesing for right now?
I am jonesing for a Frozen 4 victory from the Western Michigan Broncos. This Thursday, they play Denver.
Oh boy!
And is that game at? Where is that game at?
I don't know.
I thought I heard it was maybe Little Caesars. That can't be right. Oh, anyways, Western Michigan Broncos in the Frozen Four for the first time.
Yeah,
that's exciting. So if you watch them play, I don't think they're very flashy. They're just a hard-nosed defensive team, hard to get. They stop penalty plays, power plays. They are a tough team to beat. So I'll be watching Thursday night. That's what I'm jonesing for right now.
I am currently jonesing for a nice afternoon at the ballpark with baseball back in swing. Love to go to a Whitecaps game or a Tigers game. Been a minute since I've been to the Whitecaps. I want to see Max Clark in action. Might have to make that happen here before it's too late. But yeah, either that or just going down to the river or the lake and putting the Tigers on the radio. I just need some sunshine. We've been getting straight 40-degree days, so I'm just jonesing for some sunny days in baseball.
I was jonesing hard for that just yesterday. Just being on the water with a fishing pole in hand, listening to the Tigers in the afternoon. It's hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jonesing for two things. Number one is disc golf, which is rare. I'm probably the least disc golfer in the family. Something about the weather, although it's a cold week ahead, but the weather did warm up a little bit last week, and I started to feel the itch to throw some plastic. So I'm pretty sad that Cody was in a text thread today just saying that him and my best friend, are going to go disc golfing without me just because I have other priorities in my life. So appreciate that, Code. The other thing I'm jonesing for is I'm starting to get the football itch too. Probably because I've been listening to a lot of spring practice reports that are way too optimistic. I swear these beat reporters, they don't even watch practice. Michigan football is a submarine. And then there's Bryce Underwood is literally a god amongst men. And I'm like, yeah, he is. Spring football. I think they're going to have a spring game in a couple weeks. And I don't know. We might have to make the trip, guys. If anything, just to hang out. It's free. I love free. So yeah, football and disc golf, and I'm enjoying watching this Houston game right now because it's going well. I got to complain. This is a little after the fact, but before halftime, Houston super got goaltended, and Florida whacked the ball away from the rim. It was on the rim, and they whacked it off. And they went down and shot a 3 and made it. So that's a 5-point swing. So I'm a little upset about that, but right now we're up 10, so we're hopefully not jinxing it. But go Cougs! That's what I'm jonesing for.
Love that, boys.
Go Cougs!
Go Cougs! Well, that's all. That's all we got for you tonight, but it feels good to be back, boys. So going to be bringing you more of this content on a weekly basis and some new content. Going to be trying to mix it up a little bit, keep you guys on your toes. But make sure that you guys hit us up in the Discord, fill up that mailbag. Let us know what you would do with your executive powers as the new Kathleen Kennedy. Let us know what you're jonesing for, what you thought of this March Madness. We just love to hear from you guys. So thanks for joining us on another episode of the Jonesing for Sports podcast. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.